Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I've got game 2 of this best of 3. It is from IPL5's Korean qualifiers and it is between EmpireViolet, who is the pink Zerg in the lower left, and NSHSan, who is the red Protoss in the top right. San, of course, is a great player. So is Violet though, so this best of 3 is going to be intense. If you haven't seen game 1, it's on my channel, so go and check it out because it was really swish and it's pretty cool. So just pause this video and go and check that out, otherwise spoilers incoming. Game 1 was pretty exciting. To be honest, the push from Sam was very effective early on. He did a lot of damage, especially taking out that natural base was essential. And then really Violet tried to counter push, but San's defense was just too strong, and being behind, the fact that San had his third base up and the better tech and the better upgrades essentially just meant that if Violet didn't kill him there, he was just going to get further and further behind. So what can we expect from this game? Well, yet again San is going to be going for a fast expand. That is dictated by the fact the pylon is on the low ground. Violet, he'll probably go for a 14 or 15 pool again into an expansion into a third, because that's really what you do. It's the best approach. You need to get the third around 4 to 5 minutes is ideal. This probe is really scouring very early, so clearly just checking for any kind of 6 pool or really before 10 pool. There goes down the 15 pool, which is pretty much as standard as you can go. And for the moment, San hasn't taken the Forge, which suggests that it may actually be a Nexus first build, which is a bold decision, but because he knows that the pool came down so late, he knows he's absolutely safe from that. 2 drones being pulled. Now, this is a trick you see quite often used. The reason you bring 2 drones is so you can really deal with that probe if it tries to delay the hatchery. So really that is a great trick to learn, but of course if a pylon comes down, there's not too much you can do about that. Sam not actually going for the Nexus first, went for the Forge, which is quite a late Forge. So again, just choosing to play a little bit safer. The pylon is going to go down though, but does cancel, so that is fairly normal. The probe is still going to delay it, but there goes down the natural base at a fairly nice timing, not too far delayed. We do have the Queen on its way. No Zerglings as of yet for Violet, but there comes the first 2. They're basically there just to deal with the probe and get a little bit of scouting information. The Overlord is seeing everything as well, knows the Forge came down before the Nexus. That's the critical tell. The Gateway and Pylon also on its way. The cannon should follow up shortly. And really this probe now by San is going to come down here and deny the third, or maybe not. That might not be what it does, because it's the curse of the commentator. If you say a probe's going to do something, or really anyone's going to do anything, they tend to like to do the opposite, because it then makes whoever is commentating the game look really silly, which is a secret joy players have. If you didn't know, they all have group discussions about how they're going to do it, like preemptively. It's brilliant. But anyway, there goes down the third base. It was about 4 minutes 12ish, I think. So really nice timing on that. A bit earlier than the 4 minute 20 standard, which means just a bit better economy, and that's essentially was available because Violet went for 2 Zerglings rather than 4 or 6, which is really just playing it as macro intensive as possible. You want to get up the big economy, you want to go to the mid game. Now essentially that's fine as long as we don't see Sam put on a big amount of pressure, which considering he is fast expanding, it means there's not going to be any 4 gates or anything, but the 2 base plays are what will really bring fear to Violet, because you can get some really big 2 base gateway pushes. You can also get the 2 Immortal Sentry push, which is really difficult to do and especially effective on Daybreak, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. You can get Stargates, you can get DTs, you can get Blink play, you can get anything from 5 to 7 gateway pushes, you can get the +1 push, which is possible because +1 weapons is on its way, you can get a +2 timing push, you can get a smaller push, you can get the warp gate drop, which we saw in game 1. Essentially all of this is an option available to San, and what you have to do as a Zerg player is narrow down your response of how do you deal with it. Well, obviously air is one option, so you need the Evo chamber. That also deals with the DTs because it gives you detection. Although we've got this 1 gate robo, so we're probably going to see a war prism out there. What else can you get? Well, obviously that's concern 1 is the airplay. The gateway pushes, that just means you need a lot of roaches out, roachling to deal with that. Then you have the sort of 2 Immortal Sentry push. That is basically cry yourself to sleep. as you lose. If you don't scout that, you have a nightmare because you need to get a lot of, well, Zerglings, a lot of roaches, and also a lot of spine crawlers to really deal with that. But we've got 3 more gates being added on, so this will be a 4-gate robo push, which can be really, really effective. All the scouting being denied because this sentry, of course, pushing back that overlord, doesn't get the kill on it, but is pretty fun. Here comes out that warp prism, so a very similar build to game 1 here from San, and of course game 1 it was super effective. The natural base was taken down, but we do have the Evo chamber on its way. No sign of the Roach Warren yet, so maybe we're going to see some kind of Ling Infester type play. That of course is always an option. There are 3 gases down at the moment, and the 2 gases of the natural are quite interesting, but actually here comes down that Roach one, so everything's slightly back to normal. We do have 2 sentries and a probe, so quickest way to get a proxy pylon down is to just load up your probe in the warp prism. We do have everything being dropped, the probe on its way out. We do have more warp pins of zealots coming down, the sentries being dropped again, and this is just so similar to game 1's build out of San. And of course that was just so effective, and yet again the Roach one slightly later than you may expect, and this queen, that is probably going to go down. There is a spine though, and as well as that second queen will help tremendously. And a cancel on these warpins here because the Zerglings were there, and well, the Zealots, they do come out. They are going to shred all of those Zerglings, and suddenly we've got a panic build out of Violet here, getting a lot of Zerglings and a lot of Roaches ASAP. We do have a pylon hidden at the back here. We do have 3 more gateways being added on, so this is pretty much a 2-base all-in now, because that will take him up to 4, 5, 6, 7 gates and a robo, which is pretty much the most you can possibly support off of 2 bases, and essentially San is going to try and win here. Of course he is a game up, so if he wins this he will win the series. If he loses it, it goes to game 3, which then you can play a bit more safely, as opposed to going for an all-in, which is either you win or you don't. This Warp Prism though is going to scare the hell out of Violet because he knows it's moving around, and that's just going to make him reposition his units. 1 Zeta will get picked off pretty much for free. 2 Stalkers have been warped in, but they are picked up, and now where are they going to go? There's lots of places they can go, but this big move of course is what's scary. The Immortal in there as well will help tremendously in dealing with the Roaches, and of course the sentry numbers starting to get pretty high, 8 already on the field. These 2 Stalkers need to be very, very careful, but of course with no anti-air, this basically means that San can just pick them up and drop them off whenever he so chooses. You can also do some nice little micro where you avoid the damage from the Roaches if you pick up after the attack animation but before the projectile hits, which again is also cool. And things you learn through playing the PvZ custom game StarCraft Master, which it's the final level with the 3 Stalkers and against the 2 siege tanks. That is fun. It is really difficult to do, is the only level I haven't completed. Anyway, the bit on the sidetrack there. So, we do have San gearing up for a big push. Violet, he's getting a lot of Zerglings out. He does have a handful of Roaches, but with so many sentries, I feel like this is never going to go too well. The 2 Immortals are out as well. They're going to do huge damage. Some great force fields there already, stopping those Roaches from getting away. And just look at how quickly the Immortals are shredding this. But 1 Immortal getting focused down, and San does not want to lose that. That would be a big loss at this stage of the game. Only got the 2 kills, but 42 HP remaining. San needs to protect that ultimately. There goes down the Guardian Shield. So many spines here. The Tumbling Claws are on their way here for Violet as well. But these force fields are just on the money, and that's just from so many sentries. You can just whittle down this Zerg army so it engages ever so slowly, and you can just pick it off piece by piece in little tasty mouthfuls. But for the moment, Violet is not looking to be in a good spot, trying to get behind the hatchery in order to defend it. But more force fields go down, and it's just an endless stream. It is not fun for Zerg players seeing that many force fields because you just have nothing you can do. All of your units are trapped up. The 3rd base is going down. That is going to be a big hit to Violet's production, if nothing else, even if this push was stopped here. But a 3rd Immortal has joined in the fray. More force fields are coming down, and this push has essentially gone through, taking no damage at all. And that is never a fun time. I mean, if we look at the resources lost, over double lost here for Violet compared to San. These Overlords are going to get picked off, which of course could pose the risk of supply blocking, but it shouldn't. 1 force field goes down, but that is not enough. The rest of the Roaches are pushing forward, but it's again fighting into a choke. With the Immortals safely behind a line of Stalkers, they're able to dish out just so much damage. The Warp Prism allowing super quick reinforcements, and Well, this is an amazing defense for the moment by Violet, but San is just pushing and pushing and pushing. The roach numbers are getting lower and lower and lower, and that of course is the concern. Tunneling Claws is done though, and once you see drones getting pulled, you know things aren't looking too happy, but for the moment this is going to get cleaned up, and even if all of this is actually destroyed, which is looking like it should, so many drones have been killed, the base has been killed, and that just isn't fun. But there are more stalkers getting warped in for the moment, and it's actually going to be pretty close, but I think Violet should be able to hold it. But the concern is, what is this economy going to be like behind this? The answer is very, very low, only 21 drones to 50 probes. So even if somehow Violet does hold this and the endless reinforcements, it's not going to bode well for the mid game. I don't think there's any way that Violet can come back from this. He is just trying to cling on to the very last, and now there's only a handful of roaches left. Another wave of reinforcements ready to come down. There they go, and suddenly this is just not looking fun at all for Violet. San, I think, should be able to take this push now. He's just got too many stalkers there. Blink isn't done. The upgrades are 1-1 compared to 0-1 for Violet. San, he's just reinforcing. He's stopped even producing immortals. He hasn't even attempted to take a third base. He's just pumping units. He knows he's so far ahead in terms of economy. He can just keep pumping, and he doesn't actually have to engage cost effectively now. He can just keep going. The Overseer, of course, absolutely essential to pick off that Observer with a Queen if he can, so those roaches can burrow and regenerate health, because essentially Violet needs to engage as cost effectively as he can. Quite a few of those roaches were caught behind force fields, and it looks like now San should be able to push forward. He picks off the Overseer, and now these roaches are getting cleaned up. So many stalkers there, and there is the GG, and San takes this series 2-0. So I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. New top level games up every single day on my channel, so if you like my casting, please don't miss out. That'd be cool. Leave an awesome comment, that'd be sweet, and follow me on Twitter, that'd be cool as well. But most importantly, I hope you did enjoy, and thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.